Yeah, just unwrapping that key to your heart, baby, helping you get that great new start, that coasting into the new reality, baby. If you just relax, then you get to see, baby. Just shine, and then you be. And you move beyond all the requirements of this reality. How about that, man? Talk about shaking and baking and getting your heart unbreaking. Oh, here's to you, babies, and all that you do, and all that you are, and all that you're becoming, and all that you be. Right here in this moment of now, don't you see? I salute you with my official Coyote Club mug. Clink, clink, clink all the way around, babies. Ooh, you are rock, you are roll. Oh, goodness, that's good coffee. Tastes so sweet with all of your love in it, babies. Whew. Yeah. You are rock, you are roll, you are love, you are heart, you are soul. Your love in motion, babies, each and every one of you. And I cannot, from my divine heart, appreciate you deeply enough. Because without you, there wouldn't be any activity here, babies. You are the rock and roll stars of this universe, of this reality, of this galactic plane and this star-felt presence that lives inside of you, me too, babies. We are the rising sun. And the only one inside of each and every one that is the only one. See, we've been put in this little prison where we felt separated, isolated, and we were led to believe, conditioned, in other words, to think that the solution for what we felt lacking, freedom, was outside of ourselves. The free love, the free regeneration, the Savior, the, what do you call it, the Messiah. Me-si-ya. Now do you start to catch on to what that really means? Me, Sai, yeah. Me, the person. Sai, wow, I got it. That's what a Messiah is. It's you and I and everything to be, setting ourselves free, because finally we do see the true reality of the one loving heart in everything that is. And each of us is just a replication of that heart, not a duplication. A replication, which then is the same thing. You see, we're not clones. No, not even close. We're the same heart, the same love, the same life in everything that's real, everything that exists here. And all that's unreal too, because it's all created of this love, this one heart, you see. And my sweet Lord, oh God, that's beautiful. You know, that kind of stuff kept us going through those ages of lonely pain where we just couldn't see it inside of ourselves, and outside we had to reach for God, for love, you know, partner, for, you know, children, grandchildren, the feeling of love, the wealth of regeneration in the generations and all that shit, you know. It's always externalized here, you know, to keep you focused outside of yourself so you won't look in there and see what's real. That's the ultimate coyote medicine here, man. You know, that we're led away from our heart by the vehicle of the heart. See, we're taught that the heart is this silly romantic thing. Well, maybe romantic, maybe not. Some people are so cold, as you know, they wouldn't know what romance was. But we're taught that the heart is fickle, basically. And that we are inside insufficient. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a narcissistic. I can't help it. You see? And then we submit our power to, quote, quote, a higher authority. And that the higher authority then takes control of our life in whatever way we see or perceive it to be. You see, we've given up our right to freedom. We might have changed wardens in our prison and got a little kinder one or something, but we're still in a prison. And in this prison, there's an exact diagram of behavior you're expected to conform to, and if you don't, there's punishment. Kick your own little ass really hard sometimes. You screw up in the bad way. Whatever that might be for you, that might be missing the target. Whatever it is, you see. We all live it quite naturally, though, see, and now you're starting to see the contrast between freedom, which is, unity, union in the one heart in everyone. And slavery, which is isolation, 30 days in the hole and so much mo. The ultimate suffering, because your life is controlled by an external energy, like it or not, you're not free. Now, in that prison, though, you've always got the key in your hand, your heart, babies, to set yourself free, always. When we realize then that love is in everything and everyone, the walls of these prisons lovingly dissolve away. The warden retires. The guards are not guards anymore. They're guardians. They've been keeping you safe and warm and comfortable and well-fed and all that shit, During your time of sorrow, and you thought they were the enemy. Now they're your friends, see? Such is the significance of the turnaround that we're going through now, all of us in this reality, one form or another, one way or another, which leads to a culminating point where all are joined together in this, everyone and everything. Right there at the finish line, which is what? The beginning point. See? We just keep going back to that. New beginning, new beginning, new beginning. Well, there's only one beginning, and it's pretty new and it's pretty old. It's right here inside of us. It's this moment right now. This place of being where we are. And if we allow ourselves to see then the essence of the star inside of ourselves, as I call it, little Sparky, the glowing, glittery love of life that brings forward every bit of creation, then you start to understand the unity of the one heart. It's little Sparky. It's that delighted Coyote Love that just loves to create. And it's not really mischievous, it's just happy. It likes dancing, it likes partying, it likes playing in the sun. It likes being the sun, it likes being the earth, it likes being creation, and most of all, it loves being human. Because you can feel everything there, man, where, in any other state of being, you aren't quite present in it. It takes the ripening of the human experience to get you there. And that's why we've so treasured it and lined up at the doorways to get in here as soul presences and to experience some pain and suffering and get our asses kicked royally. How else are we going to find our way out of this pit? We don't give ourselves some motivation. There's a reason why, when they portray them cherubic little devils in hell, they all got pitchforks in their hand. We need a little poke in the ass every now and then, keep us going. We're such lazy shits. I mean, the fires of hell might be warm, Maybe you're sitting there warming your hands by the fire when you should be moving on. Here comes the dude with the electronic fork, man. You're in trouble. See, we really have used some real devious means. We've disguised angels as devils and everything in between in order to get ourselves through, to see the divine aspect of this dream we're living in. When we see that divine aspect, that little spark of love, light that brings it all into being, creates the mother heart, the father heart, all the rest of it, brings it all together. Then we're just like flowing with it. And we're just going with that happy little heart, which is that little sparky guy, that girl. Yeah. Well, we shouldn't even divide our presence in that way. That little sparky light. It's so divinely masculine and feminine in all of its representations and everything in between. It loves it, man. It loves to unite. It never really felt itself divided whatsoever inside. It didn't know masculine and feminine. That's why it had to form it outside of itself a little while. So it could experience its presence in another, in a more close and personal way than had ever been created before. You don't realize what a divine experiment as well as experience this whole creation, this whole divine matrix paradigm has been, Sure, it's been a hellhole and a shithole to boot, but boy, we have designed our own way to paradise right there in the pit of hell, man. We've even ritualized it. Made it look nasty and dark, make it look bright and like the gateway to paradise that it is. We've done a little bit of everything with it, We've gone all the way, man, in trying to pursue the external remedy, rather than see that it's already remedied inside. And when you're in love with life, and you are the love of life, that divine spark and everything, then you're consciously present and you got something to celebrate. Now you can join with others and party and play like there ain't no tomorrow, because there ain't. All there is the light of day and the party we got underway. That's it. Delighted kids in the fields of life just playing, playing, playing. You know, we can inebriate and intoxicate ourselves all we want, get high and happy as we please, and we ain't hurting each other. Not a foul thought comes forward, not a one. We're just rocking in the sun. We're having such great fun. We finally caught on, man. We finally started to rock with our roll and roll with our soul, which is to empower the heart and bring all of creation happily together inside this beautiful little child presence adult person that we are. You know, even if you're 3, you're a child presence adult person these days. You know, because the ascendant masteries are being born now back into human form. Because it's their turn. You know, they're here to inherit their peaceful planet, their peaceful paradigm. Yes, indeed, baby. That's why the old one's dissolving away. That's why none of the old bullshit works anymore, you know. Poor old Pope over there in, you know, the Soviet Union or wherever he happens to be, he's just jumping up and down in the closet going, why? He's a spoiled little kid, man, you know. Well, so's all the rest of the great manipulators and all the energies and powers behind them. But guess what? They're only throwing a fit because they're finally getting over it and getting through it. And nobody's alone, and nobody's left alone, and nobody's light, and nobody's dark. We're all just bright and beautiful and powerful in the simple love that we are. And that's the simple remedy to every question in this reality and every opposition there seemed to be. You know, and if you can accept that in yourself, you become full again. Whole again. W-H-O-L-E. Why? Holy. Yes, and holy cow, look at me now. You see, we're coming back together. We're bringing parts of ourselves back to life that felt dead for so God blessed long. And look at how you fear that. Look at how you fear the land of the living. You think it's death, man. You see how the opposite's been so gently programmed into us that it's accepted widely? This is a death to life. This is a life coming through death and transforming the whole energy of it. There's not a separation. There's a joining in that death, a reunion. That's what's been practiced in the old death, in the old way of separating from the carcass and moving on, you know, back into the love of life, the light of life, if you felt worthy enough. And if you didn't and self-condemned and all that, well, that's where all these ghost stories come from. You hear a lot of them here on the Hazy Radio Network, don't you? These are just mostly, I wouldn't even call them tormented souls, confused souls that didn't know the love, didn't know they deserved the love, thought they were condemned by, you know, all the repression they'd been through. You know, man, we got a dogmatic book of rules here like you wouldn't believe, man. And most of our existential behaviors, that which brings the ecstatic, that which would extend us into our loving creation, most of those kind of behaviors are prohibited in one way or another. You shall not be happy, you shall be dour and sour, and you shall work and grunt and groan and pull your way through this shit. Because paradise waits you for you at the end. When you die, you get to be happy again. Well, horse shit. You know, I mean, you know, why should you grunt and groan and be a slave just because somebody says there's paradise at the other end? Even if you feel it coming. I mean, why shouldn't you have it right now? Why should you grunt and groan? Did anybody ever stop to consider that? I mean, you know, don't you think we have, in 1 billion years, which is basically the course of human history, don't you think we've covered, let's say it's only 1 million years, don't you think we've covered just about every dynamic that could be empowered here in a dark or a light way, and everything in between? Don't you think we've gone the realm of experience and feeling? Negative and backwards and dark and everything that knocked us on our ass and made us feel like we belonged in the black morass and that we were just, you know, losers and could never win, man. Never get out of it again, you know. Well, thank God my generation started to awaken out of that kind of self-condemnation. You know, and it was just an awakening, but that's so is right now. Just a little deeper level of it, a little higher, ain't it, babies? Yes, indeed. Because we got the fire ever since that Lionsgate on 8/8, you know, slapped us on the backside and says, get your body in here, man, let's take a ride. You see, and this is all symbolic. It don't matter what the date is or what the date was. You know, all that matters is that we get it. You know, we accept these transitions to truth as they come to us. That's all. That's all we got to do is just flow with it. Just be glowing and shining and accepting of what the heart brings you. It's so simple, and I'm speaking to myself as well as the rest of us. I'm not standing on no soapbox. I'm like standing under it, actually trying to hide. Now, babies, we're all on this ride together. What we do for one, we do for everyone. You know what and what we allow for ourselves, and I'm not advocating this hollow, empty selfishness, but I'm advocating a self-love that you feel that will always provide for you in a very, very comforting way. So either whether you live under the sunshine or you live under a peaked roof up in the Swiss Alps or somewhere else in a little huddy home in Mongolia, whatever, wherever you are, babies, you're living a perfectly charmed life created by your heart the way you want it to be. And if you need more comfort and a release from pain and agony and all that shit, well, you just let the heart bring you there because that's what it wants. That's why you're starting to express it that way. Even the coldest person in this world is a saint beyond belief because they were able to endure themselves as the largest asshole ever created. That takes a lot to be that ugly and that cruel and that, self-centered that has no self. The empty pit, the dark hollow that can never be filled. You see, which, basically is a projection of our own emptiness, personified in the reality so we can see it and judge it and condemn it outside of ourselves, of course. Never deal with it that way. Oh, but darlings, now we're seeing our way through. And we know exactly what to do. Just follow the recipe. The formula in the heart, the flow that keeps you in the glow. Man, just rock and then just roll, and now recognize they go together. The harrowing moments and the ecstatic moments, the rock and roll, the beauty, the love, the charm, is all great success here. Just like the music is, it flows in divine harmony. Every bit of our experience, every bit of our creation, every bit of our life. Beautifully perfect. Poetic beyond belief, man. Why do you think you got such a cute little ass, Laz? It's telling you something. Not something to take great pride in, though. It's something to be real happy about. But it's telling you. The golden arse is the golden heart. The golden heart is everything. You're rich beyond belief, and you're beautiful because of it. And it don't matter if you have a bank account or whether you got zeros in it or not. Who cares? It's all powerfully, beautifully wealthy. And, in your little yurt out there in outer Mongolia or inner Puxahawkie, New Jersey, you're protecting and providing and taking care of yourself and those that you think you lovingly extend into this creation with. Family, in other words. Sometimes that you take care of your family in odd sort of ways, wow. You can live in a yurt that ain't real, that you've imagined, and you can be this radiant, loving family life in that realm, which you couldn't even quite create in this one, yet as you see it in that more perfect way, the way your imagination would have it, babies, that's what you begin to create here, because you move quite naturally with the flow of creation, and that's where it's held. And that's why they make you kind of afraid of your imagination and put warped thoughts in there all the time, warping your natural desire, externalizing your desire quite unnaturally, you see. Well, it's good that we can be externally expressed, but it's good that we find it internally. That's our greatest success. In joy, inside, in joy. In love, in peace, in divine harmony, in divine presence, because we feel the radiant love coming forward from our heart and firing up something that seems to be the mystical heart right in the middle of our chest. And there's great love and wealth and personification of that love and wealth in this reality through that centerized intelligence, that feeling, that flow that the heart ignites now, don't you know? See, it's the beginning, and of course, the beginning always of the unity of this moment of now, where everything inside is, of course, on the same ride. Rides in the same person, is the same person, and therefore does not exist in conflict. But in that same way that rock is roll and roll is rock, flows together in divine harmony. Sure, it's got a tribal beat. Sure, it's got its grittier edge. Sure, it's got its harshness and its pain. But when the release comes, that's the greatest gain, you know, dancing naked around the fire and feeling the sun. You see what I mean, Jelly Bean? Just so darn happy you want to melt down, but all you can do is expand into creation and melt into that, because that's where we are already. You know, it's the divine externalized presence of creation that really was never externalized. You can't externalize it, do you see? But because we are creator creation, you know what our heart wanted to see, it could create and be. In an illusionary sort of way, the holographic reality, so that it learn and grow, provided an education for itself that way. A ripening of the heart, same as like, you know, you got to let the grapes hang on the vine and, you know, go through a little weather and get lots of bright sunshine, etc. to make really nice wine, you know. Well, the vintage is pressed, and guess what? We made it the best, and you could leave this in a bottle for 10,000 years. It's always going to come out of there with great zest. And the bottles we drink it from are always bottomless. I mean, the flow goes on forever. This is a vintage, a press that is forever abundant. I mean, it can't run out. It's made of the very love of life itself, the essential juice of life, the pure heart, the little sparky of love that's in us all, and keeps us all united and together, whether our tribe is scattered across the globe, or living right next door, or living in the same teepee with us, however it's expressed, man. I mean, you know, it's all together in us now. You see how we pull together even when we're thousands of miles apart? You see how we work in unity always, even when we're sputtering and spitting that you dissed me, man, and, you know, etc., you know. No matter the application, the power is in the love that creates the moment we live in. And that's our release, because we're real contented with it. We love the drama of it. We love, you know, the powerlessness and the power in the powerlessness, the power that brings forward, which is really the power to love, the power to be, you know, the ability to be. You know, we have to move beyond a lot of conditioning, a lot of programming that says we ain't worthy and we ain't going to get there and we ain't it, and we're just little specks of dust in the wind getting blown around by random breezes, you know. Darling, you know, and this may be in an essential way kind of true, but in another way it's a 50% lie, because the winds that are blowing us around, this little speck of dust is the spark of life that begins and is everything, all of creation in that little spark. That little speck of dust getting blown in the wind, you know, and the wind that blows it is the wind of the heart, the wind of creation, the winds of love, the spirit winds, as I call them, you see. So spirit wind is a creation of the heart. It's the compulsion, the divine intelligence that works with the heart and breezes us just right into the right place to be in, the right form of creation. And, you know, we're never too hot. We're always got a little cooler going on because of that spirit breeze, you see. So we can allow ourselves to expand and be whatever we are, because we're not the hottest shit in the whole reality. We're the hottest thing to ever be, but we got a cooler on, don't you see, in that spirit breeze, man, which moderates and temperates, you know, and brings creation forward perfectly. You know, despite all the rock and roll we go through in the flow that creates it, don't you know? Pale horse of love can crow hop every now and then, can it? Give you a little bump up in the saddle and wake you up and just remind you that, hey, you know, you better be present and not just riding along here with your head in your butt, you know what I mean? Nodding off in the saddle. I mean, sure, it's a sweet ride, but maybe it's time to giddy up and go now, huh? Maybe the horse race is on. Maybe the race is already won. But anyway, just ride it, baby. Be one with that animal, that pale horse of love, that heart of yours, so divine, and you'll get along just fine, whether the race is on or already over with, you know, or not even come up yet. You know, whatever it is, that's where you be, and it's perfect, don't you see? Riding through this reality and grabbing on to all the gusto we can, you betcha, man. And that don't mean drinking Budweiser either. I say that metaphorically, don't sue me. And big horses can stomp on you, you know, and crush you, man. Oh, they can't help it if they got piss water beer works. I mean, that's just my humble opinion, babies, for what it's worth. But yeah, we live ourselves high. We drink on the champagne of life, the vintage of love that's come pure through the ages, and now pours out in an abundant wealth that just inebriates and intoxicates everyone on the happy little heart that you are. Each and every one of us. Just bright little sun shining. And sure, sun's got to merge and make creation some more, man. Emerge, and, what the hell? Emerge, Light is everything. Light is life. Light is love. And all it wants to do is expand its great light into everything. Experience it all, man. That's what we're doing here, man. One end to the other, one end of the spectrum to the other. It's all grand. And it's all great, and it's all glorious, and it's all brilliant, and it's all beautiful. Ain't it, kids? Sure feels like it to me. I hope you're feeling it too, babies. I can sure feel you doing it. Rock on, my little darlings. Boy, has it been a ride? Ooh, I just frickin' love it now. Now, Bill's been bugging me here, man, for a few minutes, and you know how aggressive he can be. So, Bill, I'm going to let you and, Mr. George have a little say-so here. Okay, here we go with a little more of the sweet rock and roll soul of your own divine heart. Here from paradise, yes, 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky, from which you take off and fly. The Coyote Medicine Show with that guy, Grandpa Coyote, helping you take off and fly. Only on the Hazy Radio Network. That work. I love you, baby. So keep it rocking and make sure you get it right.